Well, welcome to Partners in Ministry. I'm your host, Dan Smith, and today I'll be talking with Cathie Zeliadt. Cathie is the director of the Middle River Friends Church Food Pantry in Carlisle, Iowa. Welcome, Cathie, and thank you for joining me.
Well, welcome to you also, and I appreciate the opportunity to share about our pantry.
You guys just have a great ministry there. So to kind of get things started a bit, tell us a little bit about your background. What did God do to bring you to the point now to where you are a director of a food pantry?
I'm not sure exactly how it happened. One of the jobs that I had 40 years ago, was to work at the Door of Faith as a part-time secretary. And I love working with people. So when COVID came and one of the ladies in our church suggested that we do a blessings table, we knew some people who had lost their jobs or they were temporarily laid off and were needing some extra help. And because I was available, I just felt called to help with that. So we became partners in setting up a blessings table. And it grew from there until we had a full-fledged food pantry. And my husband was retired then also. And so we were able to be a partner in that. And through the food pantry in Indianola, a helping hand, we were able to get involved with purchasing from the Food Bank of Iowa. And then it just grew from there. Fairway in Carlisle and Dollar General in Carlisle donate food to us on a regular basis. And so I direct the distribution of those foods and the purchasing of foods. And then we also have a ministry to our people. And some of them, we even have a gentleman who comes in just to visit with my husband. And it's grown to the point where some people have a physical need with the repair or installation of the washer or dryer or something like that, and he's able to do that. He's even helped one of our young men with his car and has helped him with an electrical problem that he had. So he has those skills. I have a couple of ladies who call me mom. So it's grown from just being a food distribution to becoming a personal family with some of them. The two ladies that call me mom in particular, one of them has had some health issues and problems with getting a job. And so we get to pray with her on a weekly basis. And the other lady, it was a thing where I said, well, you can just call me mom. And so she always has. And she introduced her children. She introduced me to her children. She said, this is Pantry Grandma. So we have those relations with some of our people. There's one gentleman who comes in and he comes in to visit. He'll just sit down and start talking. He does have some ladies that he transports to get their boxes of food. And he and Daryl, my husband, have quite a camaraderie. And so he'll just come sit in and take a few items for his grandkids. And then he and Daryl just visit, or he just visits with us. We have several families who have become members of our church. And so it's grown from not just being feeding the body, but feeding the soul.
Yeah, and it also sounds like not only has it moved from just being a blessings table where your members of your church were helping, but it's become more of a community type of thing. Is that right?
Right. Our official title is MRFC CCA Pantry, and it's because we have joined with Carlisle Christians in Action, and they have supported us financially. It started back when we were doing a angel tree project every Christmas, and they joined us with that. And then when we became a pantry, they supported that, and they still do. And one of their members is on our board. We developed a board. and became a 501(c) food pantry. So we're nonprofit officially. And they support us at Thanksgiving and Christmas, where we distribute over 100 boxes to families for each of those events.
Oh, that's amazing to watch what the Lord's doing. Yeah. I know without volunteers, a ministry like this can't exist. On a regular basis, about how many different volunteers do you have helping you, and where do they come from?
Oh, most of them coming from the community, from the other churches, and from our church in particular. We are a little short-staffed right now, but God's working on that. We had a gentleman join us yesterday, and as a new volunteer, and he's really ready and able and willing to do whatever we ask him to do. He kind of was a step or two ahead of us a lot of the time, but some can come in for a couple of hours. We've got 2 ladies who are here on Wednesdays the entire day, and so we actually are going to get to have a vacation this year, so that we'll have 2 Mondays and a Wednesday off, because we'll be traveling to Tennessee. And so one of those ladies has offered to fill in for me. And the gal, Bobby, who started the blessings table, a suggestion, will also be filling in. And then we have 2 ladies who had started coming to us the pantry, who then became members of our church, and they help with the pantry and have volunteered. And so, but one of them has had some health issues, and so we're short-staffed for a while due to that. But our volunteers are a blessing to us. They interact with our people, and they love doing what they do. Some of our volunteers are here for a couple of hours, and then in the afternoon we'll have a couple others. So anyone that wants to volunteer from the community or even outside our community would be great.
Sure. I know it's most of it's not hard for us to understand how volunteering we help bless others. But the neat thing about working, especially with like a food pantry or a ministry like what you're doing, is that as a volunteer, you get blessed too. What are some of the stories or some of the feedback that your volunteers are saying, you know what, my life has been enriched, or my life has found some fulfillment by being a volunteer? How are volunteers being blessed in the process of serving?
Well, the 2 in particular who are here all day, it's definitely a ministry for them. And they are blessed with just the thanks that we get and being able to serve. They feel called to do it. Most of our volunteers do feel called, even if it's short term. Even if it's just a couple of hours, they love being here. They like interacting with the people. And they are involved in other ways. A lot of our volunteers obviously are not members of our church, but they become part of our pantry family.
Sure. There's probably going to be several people that are watching this video that are thinking, this might be something I'd really like to be a part of. If that's happening, what would be my first step to see about how I could get involved with the food pantry ministry there in Carlisle?
The willingness to serve. And we do have, because we are purchasing from the Food Bank of Iowa, we do have to follow a lot of the rules and regulations of the USDA, and there is paperwork that they would have to sign, but it would just be something that's required by them. But other than that, just a willingness to serve and feeling called and just asking, what do I do?
Sure.
And then train them. Yep.
Cathie, this has just been a great conversation. Thank you so much for sharing with us today. I really appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, before we go, what are some specific ways that our viewers could pray for both you and the food pantry this week?
Well, we have applied for some grants that help us financially. And so those grants would be filled. We want to thank Fairway and Dollar General in Carlisle in particular for all of the donations they have given us and the support they've given us over time. And just thanks for the blessings that we receive, and any way that the ways that they can support us are through donations financially or through food donations.
Good. Great. Well, if you've got any questions or if you'd like to learn more about the food pantry there in Carlisle, you can see their contact information here on the screen. You can also find it in the show notes for this episode on our website or in the description of this YouTube video. If you'd like to support the food pantry financially, you can also find links to do that both in the show notes as well as the YouTube video description. Finally, please consider praying for Cathie and the food pantry there in Carlisle, and maybe even send an email of encouragement. So on behalf of the Middle River Friends Church Food Pantry, Cathie Zeliadt, and Partners in Ministry, I want to thank you for joining us today. And until next time, let's get out there and serve as Christ serves.